What's up, what's up, what's up, and welcome to the DreKen Talk podcast. I'm your host, DreKen, and today for Black History Month, we have a very special guest, Mr. Quincy Scott. Mr. Quincy Scott is a 30-year fire captain paramedic for the Lynchburg Fire Dept. He also has spent 20 years with the Central Transportation as a paramedic as well. Quincy, welcome. How you doing today, bud?
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that introduction. I'm doing well.
No doubt. Hey, we got to give you your credentials because you earned them, like you said, bro.
Yes,
you earned them, so we got to
you.
make sure that everything is on the up and up. But
Thank
Quincy, again, you've had over half of your life in the medical field. Just talk to us a little bit about what got you started and what intrigued you as a Black youth to be a firefighter.
One of the things, well, one of many things, it started early in high school. I knew that science was my favorite subject. I knew that in order for that to flourish, I wanted to, get into secondary education, college, or just hands-on. And once I realized that once I joined the fire department and went through the process from being an EMT to a paramedic, which was a 2-year process, and being able to understand and execute those the protocols that we have to essentially save lives and bring quality of life back to the citizens of Lynchburg which is what they charged me to do, and I look forward to doing that still, even after 30 years. So,
no doubt. So again, I know we were talking earlier. You were saying that you were delivering babies at 25 years old. I mean, and you had a dream of wanting to be an actual doctor, which you still do, which we'll get into a little later. But what was that thing that actually sparked you, and you was like, yeah, this is what I want to do?
The thing that really sparked me was, just understanding the integral aspects and processes, of the human body, biology, and how that would, continue on to keep it interesting and to keep me interested. Because if it's interesting, you're gonna always make those progressive steps to say, hey, I want to do more. This is what I want to do.
No doubt. Now, there also was a very interesting story which kind of gave you this career path. From what we understood, that you had a Army or some type of armed forces. You wanted to go to the armed forces, but I guess God stepped in and told you something different. So just tell that story right there.
Well, I was a junior in high school, and the U.S. Army had a buddy program. So I enlisted during the summer and came back as a senior. And then once I graduated from being a senior, I did my advanced initial training as a combat medical specialist for the United States Army. So once I completed that training, I came back and applied for the fire department. So I remember telling, as the story goes, I remember telling my grandmother that I'll give it 6 months. If I don't get the job, I'm going to change my status from reserve duty to active duty status, and I would probably get sent overseas. So as I explained that to my grandmother, that that time limit was up, I applied for the fire department in 6 months. I was like, I'm going to call the recruiter and see if I can make that status change. So as I was going to reach for the phone, before I picked it up, it rang, and it was the fire department offered me the job. So
yeah, that's an interesting story. Talking about life kind of giving you, God giving you a direction, and like actually speaking it to you like real. That's crazy. That's supposed to happen. That is supposed to happen.
Most definitely.
No doubt. Now, we know you're like I said, you're the fire captain, paramedic for the fire department, as well as you've been working with Central for 20 years. But you also have some more things that you guys are into and that you are a big part of, and that is really interested. Myself and Q, we met at Barnes & Nobles and we talked about this thing, man, and we sat for 2 hours because I was so interested, and I was kind of ashamed because I didn't know this, but Quincy is actually the president of the local chapter for the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters. He's also the state he's also the state's regional rep, and also he's the membership committee chair internationally. So talk to us a little bit about what the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters are.
Sure. Actually, the organization started from 5 chapters in Connecticut back in October of 1970. These brothers had met in Hartford to discuss the injustices of brother and sister firefighters within the fire service, not only nationwide, but worldwide. So there were 5 chapters that had already formed before the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters had formed. So those 5 chapters formed the International under the first president, who was a fire captain in Fire Department New York. His name was David Floyd. He was the organization's first president for 10 years. So the International consists of 7 regions. The region that we are in is the Southeast region, and it goes from region to local chapters. I'm the local chapter president of the Lynchburg Progressive Firefighter Association, as Brother Kendrick had indicated. And basically, from the local aspect, we're a community-based fraternity that we have a mission and objective to educate the community, to stand up against discrimination and racism, and we also want to continue to provide, the unconditional support of our citizens that want to become firefighters.
No doubt. Now, one thing about firefighters, especially firefighters, we don't see too many African Americans in that field. It's nationwide. So, just talk to us a little bit about the discrepancies between the African American and also Caucasian firefighters.
Okay, unfortunately, one of the things that's still consistent is that is the lack of opportunity, and it's never been about ability. It's always been about opportunity and exposure, and unfortunately, that can exist as a paradigm, as a negative paradigm that continues to exist. Throughout the country, we still, I'll still see graduation pictures with fire departments throughout the country, and they might hire maybe 2 minorities or 2 African Americans, and one might be a female, or one might be, Asian American, a Pacific Islander, or so it's ultimately it's an understanding, because the fire service should represent the community that it serves, and until we can, it's a continual work in progress, and we need to continue to understand that work in progress needs to be intentional. Yeah. It needs to be intentional to the point where you can represent everyone in your community, because not everyone in the community looks the same. So your fire department should not look the same, and it should be intentionally to not look the same.
No doubt. Now, you are, like I said, you are an international chair. And some people may think, maybe just national. No, we're talking about across the world. And you have actually been doing some work setting up other chapters for the International Association of Black Firefighters. Talk to us a little bit about some of those other countries that you're touching and that you're getting to buy into what's going on with that.
Sure. The International Association of Black Professional Firefighters, we have about 4 to 5,000 members worldwide, and we are constantly networking, which is another piece that is very important to the success of this organization. So some of the work that I've been doing, I've recently talked with and created, discussed with, and had members join from Nigeria. I've been in discussion with members from Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and Jamaica. As a matter of fact, the fire ministry in Jamaica, I just talked with her about 2 weeks ago. So these are the connections that we're making. Zoom is a wonderful thing. So these are the connections that we're making, and we're also trying to continue to strengthen the national ties. We understand that culture, understanding culture and understanding the ability to be equitable and represent that. It's difficult. It can be difficult. It can set up for difficult conversations. But Andre, we got to have those conversations.
No doubt.
We can agree to disagree. We can be respectful of those disagreements.
Yeah.
But we got to have those conversations, and they have to be genuine and sincere. There's no reason that, again, as I said, there's no reason that the fire service should not represent the community that it serves.
Yeah. And getting a little bit deeper into that, far as enrollment of African Americans, because when you're young, like when people ask you, back in the days where I know we were young, people ask you, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was always want to be a football player, but classmates and friends, I want to be a policeman, I want to be a firefighter. And what I'm saying is, and I could be wrong, no slight to the police department or anything, but what I'm saying is that when those kids, when you're asked that now, you're not hearing police department or fire department no more, because of the simple fact that, whatever's been going on with the police department, I think it kind of shines a negative on the fire department, because of the simple fact, kids don't want to be cops no more. And whatever the reason may be, social injustice or whatever, however they feel about it, it's the reality of the world we live in. But my thing is speaking with you, I always would look at being a firefighter, although dangerous work, I look at it as another alternative from an athlete. And the reason why I'm doing this is because sports is my lane. I don't get into politics too much. I don't do but when it comes to sports and relating it to the world and relating it to things, life lessons and stuff, that's how I operate. So what I'm saying is that you get folks that's associating cops and firefighters and don't want to do that. How do we kind of separate the two and make the opportunities available for African American or minority candidates?
Well, and that's a good point, and I want to answer that on several levels.
Yeah.
The first thing is emergency responders, police, fire, and rescue. It's a difficult job to begin with.
Absolutely.
There's things that are seen by police, fire, and rescue personnel that are that can be for the common person could be absolutely horrific.
Exactly.
So as far as separating the two, and philosophically speaking, what I want to express is we learn more the closer we are. We have its best efforts is to again express those commonalities, however uncomfortable they may be. Once you express those commonalities of police, of the fire service, of police service, and of rescue service, you learn that you have more in common than you don't. So with that being said, that's the first part. The second level is you have to have a desire, just like you have a desire to play football. You have to have a desire to want to help people, whether it's through the police department, whether it's through the fire department. But as I said before, the main reason for African Americans that might not consider that is not ability. It's not ability. It's always about opportunity and exposure. One way that our local chapter has helped with that is that, for example, we have three members along with myself that recruit throughout the city. And how do we do it? We it's usually by word of mouth. You're surprised that close to about 85% word of mouth is how I get to converse with citizens about the fire service and explaining to them, the intricacies of it and how it can be a rewarding career. So with that being said, the opportunity and exposure. So we'll go to the community centers, we'll go to the Jubilee Center, which is one of the community centers, of course.
Yeah.
And one thing that we're going to start doing hopefully it will work, and I'm hoping that you could be a part of this
Absolutely.
too. Is do what we call lunch and learn. So we'll get interested. And by the way, to you can 18 years old is the age to apply for fire department.
Mm-hmm.
So that just recently changed. So that's a good thing. It was 21, but it's 18. So getting back to what I was saying, the lunch and learns is that just taking about a half an hour to 45 minutes of a young person's time that might be interested, or anyone that might be interested in just understanding what the fire service is, from a basic perspective, and understanding what, how emergency services is that umbrella that continues on a consistent basis to protect the citizens.
No doubt. Now, again, just getting back to, like I was saying, my lane is the sports lane.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I got common sense. I can talk about a little bit of everything, but I try to correlate everything into the sports lane. And what I'm thinking is these athletes, and it doesn't have to be just athletes, but kids, period, that's looking for a career or something like far as these athletes, looking for a career. College is not, you didn't get the scholarship you wanted, you didn't do. A lot of times what happened, they sit around, boom, nothing.
Right.
Sit around, boom, trouble. But I think there has been a shortage in information to them.
I agree.
Because you think about these kids been active for years, and they are also a part of a team. Mm-hmm. They're also physically in shape to do the job. And not only that, if those things don't work out, why would a firefighter be a good career choice for an athlete or just another kid that's coming out of school at 18?
The reason that the fire service or emergency services as a whole would be, I would have to upgrade that. An excellent choice is because of the team cohesion that like for yourself, you have that already developed. As with anyone, part of being a team is, everybody, increases their ability, their strengths, and diminishes their weakness together. We succeed together. And when you're talking about doing emergency service work, police, fire, rescue, but especially the fire department, you're looking at working with people that you've never met before. You're spending a third of your life with them. Most fire departments, fire departments in the United States, we're at work for 24 hours at a time, and then we'll have 24 hours or 48 hours off, and then we come back. So for us in Lynchburg, it's one day on, off 2 days. Yeah. So you're spending a third of your life. So like a team, like a football team, you're gonna know each other's idiosyncrasies.
No doubt.
You're gonna know each other's quirks. Sometimes it's gonna get on your nerves. Yeah. Sometimes it's gonna be, a joy, especially when you're on the scene of an incident and you need to mitigate that scene.
Yeah. And one other thing, like I said, the benefits to being a firefighter. Tough work, no doubt. But it's not like just a job, it's a career.
Correct.
So the alternative from me not getting what I wanted, me not being able to go to college, me not being able to do this, compared to career or going to the street. How do we reach those kids like that? What programs do you guys have set up in place to get the information out to their kids?
Well, before I answer that question, what I like to do is continue on the path of, and correlating, you play football and the different aspect and intricacies of that. Mm-hmm. So like, for example, in the fire service, most fire departments across the country, they have other teams within the fire department. Mm-hmm. It's like, you have a tailback, you have a cornerback, there's specific duties.
No doubt.
So like, everyone plays football, but the specific duties is what keep people coming back. Yeah. So like, for example, you join the fire department, you become a firefighter EMT. So once you get comfortable with that, you might say, hey, the fire department has a hazardous materials team, a hazmat team. Mm-hmm. You deal with specific chemicals and hazardous conditions, and that might interest you. So you go to school for that, mm-hmm. and in some instances, the fire department will pay for that.
That's what I want to hear.
So you might, like, for example, I am a member of the bike team, and the important aspect of the bike team is when the city has Friday Cheers, when we have city events to where there's a lot of people, and the ambulance wouldn't be able to get to someone with a medical emergency. So we're on, so we have bikes and we have equipment, and we can get to them and render aid until the medic unit gets there. But we have programs that will assist with their interest.
Okay.
And it's gaining that interest, pointing them in that right direction.
Again, if you're just tuning in, we're here with Quincy Scott. He is a 30-year fire captain paramedic for Lynchburg Fire Department, as well as a 20-year vet for the Central Transportation Paramedics team. Also, he is the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters president of the local chapter. He's the state regional rep, as well as the membership committee chair internationally. All right, now Quincy, we talked about, the black firefighters. We talked about your story. Let's talk about some of the women, because the women get left out a lot. And the women, they are the ones that, just like naturally, they're smarter. So, some of them hold, better, higher positions than us. So just talk to us a little bit about the women that's in your program.
Sure. We in our local chapter, we understand that part of that team, part of that representation, is women, and it's very important. At the international level, our international president, her name is Carrie Edwards Clemens. She's a deputy chief in Flint, Michigan. And again, she's the international president. She's the first female national president of our international chapter. Our regional director, who I am responsible to at the regional level. I'm a state rep for Virginia. My regional director, her name is Brenda Brooks. She is, she has been involved with the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters since 1986. Okay. So, and actually, the fire department locally, the fire department promoted its first Black female captain. Her name is Candace Brown, and she is also a member of our local chapter. So, this is very important to understand when we talk about representation. We mean intentional representation. As I said before, it's got to be intentional. Yeah,
it can't be given. I mean, it got to be earned, right? But at the same time, we have to have the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And I'm all about opportunities. May the best person win, black, white, whatever. That's what it is. But, and again, I frown down on discrimination because on job sites. I mean, I'm sure we all been through it somewhere, and then just here, it's different places as well. But as far as, just African Americans, how do we rank in those firehouses and in those departments?
Well, as you said before,
locally and nationally.
Well, as you said before, and as I've reiterated, it's never about ability. It's never about ability. It's all about opportunity and exposure. It's always been like from the time that from the time that you enter the fire service, it's all about opportunity and exposure. And unfortunately, people that might disagree otherwise might not, and it might be an unconscious bias of that action that opportunity or exposure paradigm might not be presented. But again, in understanding that there's going to be difficult conversations and diminishing, potentially eliminating the lack of opportunity, the lack of exposure, then we can start the process of proper and intentional representation.
Gotcha. Now, we're about to close, but at the same time, just to let you guys know, we're going to come back and we're going to try to do this once a month where we can get this information out and we can talk about, have questions and answers where you can call in and ask Quincy questions about what's going on, because that's what he is. He provides the information for the community. He provides the information for whoever wants to know about it, pretty much. That's what they pay him to do. That's his job. So, you know, we're going to get right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to get, how can we get more information or websites, how we get in touch with you if you wanted to talk about anything, and how do these kids get more information about possibly being a firefighter and the things that goes with it.
There's a couple of things you can do. You can go to the city website, which is lynchburgva.gov/fire, and check under the job section to see if there's any openings. We currently have openings for advanced career firefighters that might come from other agencies with training. But we are doing an entry-level firefighter hiring process. I'm hoping that it's mid to late spring that we do that. But one of the ways that you're gonna be able to get that information is lynchburgva.gov/fire. Also, our contact address is lpfava95@gmail.com. We're always open to talking with citizens and interested members within the area about the fire service, and understand that this is a selfless job. This is a job that it's really a selfless job. So keep that in mind, and your biggest support through this. My biggest support is my family through 30 years of doing this work.
Yeah. Now, so you guys do your recruiting pretty much. You have one in the spring, and then you'll probably have.
Well, the department is doing a hiring process in the spring, but our recruitment is year round.
Okay.
Based on word of mouth, and hopefully through this podcast.
No doubt.
So
yeah.
If you might be interested in helping with the international in any capacity, their website is iabpf.org. And I am as brother mentioned, Brother Kendrick mentioned, I'm the membership committee chair for the international. So you can go online and look through some information in that regard.
Yeah, and that's some great information, and that's something for you kids to think about. That's almost ready to graduate. Actually, going to graduate in the spring. You got some time to weigh out your options. See if this is something that you may be interested in. Everybody's not going to go to college. Everybody's not going to get the scholarship. Everybody don't want to go work at McDonald's. But everybody's going to have to take care of themselves sooner or later. So, this also gives you a chance till it's time for you to graduate to kind of see what's going on and kind of get the information and see if it's something for you. Because being a firefighter is not a job. It's a career.
It's a career.
It's a career with benefits. Just like, you go into college, you want a job, a career with benefits. So this is something that you don't have to have college for. You have to 18 years old.
And for any advanced training, more than likely they'll pay for it.
That's what I wanted to hear you say.
They'll pay for you, or in short or completely. You'll have the time to learn how to harness your craft and be part, as I mentioned before, you'll be part of that, of any special teams beyond the basic entry level if you so desire. So you could be that swiftwater rescue swimmer. You can be that hazmat specialist. You can be that paramedic. You can be that bicycle technician. So and it gives you other avenues to branch out and learn more about you.
No doubt. And I know what some of you kids are saying. I don't want to be in Lynchburg for the rest of my life. Tell them the other part that goes with that.
The other part that goes with that, and that's why I'm the state rep at the regional level and at the international level. If you decide that you want to work somewhere else or fire service somewhere else, this is where networking is key. Wherever you go, we can connect you with some of our members at the international level or at the regional level, and it will make the transition a whole lot easier.
No doubt. Well, this ain't the last time, but Mr. Scott, Quincy Scott, Captain Scott, no disrespect, you got to put some respect on what he got going on. We appreciate you coming in and dropping some knowledge for not only the youth, but for, you know, the whole city of Lynchburg. And this is not the last time. We're going to do this again. Information on the International Association of Black Professional Firefighters, you can go to www.iabpf.org. Also, you can go to Quincys, you guys at the police department, fire department.
You can go to lynchburgva.gov/fire.
And that's for the fire department. Anyone interested in just learning more during Black History Month about this International Association of Black Professional Firefighters, take a look at it. Again, I spoke to Quincy the other day. We talked about it for 2 hours. It's very interesting, very intriguing. You know, it's Black History Month. Let's do a little study, thinking outside of the box. All our heroes are not athletes, you know. Quincy, we look at you as a hero, bro. Like I said, you've been here for 30 years, man. I mean, you've been doing this for 30 years, helping, saving lives, saving people, helping people, man. And we commend you for it. We appreciate it for it, you for it. And at the end, in closing, you take us out, however you want to take us out, whatever the information you want the people to know. And we'll see you again the next time.
I just want to say that some of your greatest successes come with difficulties. As the saying goes, you know, we always see the tip of the iceberg. We never see what's underneath.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, it's been Captain Quincy Scott. Put some respect on it. And DreKen Talk for the DreKen Talk podcast. We out. Thank you guys for watching DreKen Talk. Be on the lookout for more exclusive content. Like, share, subscribe. DreKen Talk out.